Hello, my name is Tiana Woods, and in this presentation, I'll explore the Harvard Business School case study, Maersk Line B2B Social Media. It's communication, not marketing. Through this lens, I'll examine how Maersk thoughtfully executed a social media strategy that not only supported business goals but built meaningful connections, an approach that aligns closely with the principles of empathy, communication, and relationship building. I will discuss how Maersk created customer value, strengthened customer lifetime value, and made intentional promotional decisions. Maersk Line is the world's largest container shipment company. Traditionally, it operated in a quiet, transactional B2B space, but recognized the need for deeper connection. Maersk embraced a human centered social media strategy, something uncommon in the industry at the time. Instead of relying on sales driven messaging, they shared stories, photos from their vessels, highlights of crew members, and real time insights from the global shipping network. They chose to lead with communication, honest, humble, and transparent across platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. From a strategic standpoint, Maersk executed a low cost, highly authentic plan that mirrored what Chapter 11 describes as integrated marketing communication, ensuring all messages were unified and relationally consistent. Customer value, or CV, refers to how well a company delivers benefits relative to what a customer sacrifices. Mayors develop significant value not by offering discounts or flashy promotions, but by becoming a trustworthy source of information and insight. According to Chapter 10, value is created when marketing decisions align with the customer's world. Mayors understood that B2B customers wanted reliability, visibility, and transparency, and that's what their content offered. In terms of customer lifetime value, or CLV, which looks at the long term financial impact of a customer relationship, Mayer's consistent, meaningful communication built trust. Chapter 11 supports this by noting that relationships are sustained when promotions reinforce shared values and commitment. Mayer's thoughtful content deepened loyalty, reduced charm, and helped customers feel seen, not just sold to. Promotion is often misunderstood as pushing a product, but as described in Chapter 11, effective promotion is about aligning communication with customer needs and positioning. Mayer's approach wasn't just strategic, it was caring. They weren't trying to go viral, they were trying to be understood. Their team ensured each message, whether on LinkedIn or Instagram, fit the audience and tone of that space. By doing so, they practiced a form of promotion that was intentional, human centered, and values driven. This resonates deeply with the work we do in social services, where the goal is to meet people where they are with honesty and clarity. So, what made Mayer's strategy work so well? Here are four key drivers of that success: authenticity, their communication was sincere, not scripted; platform adaptation, they didn't copy and paste content, they respected the different needs of each audience; employee storytelling, highlighting real people made the brand feel personal and trustworthy; simplicity and consistency, a small team, consistent tone, and steady engagement created a reliable presence. These factors connect directly with chapters 10 and 11's emphasis on creating strategic value and maintaining message integrity across touchpoints. In closing, Line's social media approach shows us that even in industries considered technical or impersonal, connection and communication are still core to value creation. They demonstrated that marketing doesn't have to be loud, it can be honest, intentional, and deeply human. Thank you for joining me in this reflection and insight.
Promotion decisions ROI on Facebook. Jonathan Whitman claimed that Mars Line earned a 1,500% return on investments through Facebook. This was likely calculated using a standard ROI formula with low input costs, possibly mostly his own salary and content production. The return wasn't direct sales but came from earned media exposure, customer inquiries, and enhanced visibility. Even a few large B2B deals could justify the figure, giving the industry high deal values. Agree or disagree that the 1,500% ROI is valid? The content creator in me is partially, because in B2B, even one or two large contracts from social media activity can lead to a sustainable return, especially when the cost is low. However, Maritz didn't seem to use formula attribute modeling, so it's more of a confident estimate than a precise figure. The impact is clear, but the metrics should be interpreted with caution. Promotion decisions learns takeaway. This case reshapes how we think about the promotion decisions in B2B. Rather than measuring success strictly by conversations or click through rates, mayors focus on brand lift, customer engagement, and long term trust. It shows that promotional success can be measured in a more planned way and not just a sales figure. Jonathan Wickman claimed the incentive had a 1,500% ROI. While the case doesn't detail the exact calculation, it's likely included the value of earned media, leads, customer retention, and avoided ad spending. Since costs were low, mostly his salary and minimal content costs, even a few customer wins could justify a high return. Do I agree with the ROI? Partially. In a B2B, content deals are large and brand reputation is valuable. So the math can work, but without solid attributions tracking, it's more of a thoughtful estimate than a strict financial metric. Still, the key takeaway that social media created a significant value for him at a low cost. Promotion decisions ROI on Facebook. Jonathan Whitman
In the evolving landscape of logistics and shipping, Maersk has demonstrated success through its innovative social media strategies. However, this success has prompted competitors to adapt and respond with their own tactical approaches. Firstly, competitors are likely to imitate Maersk's effective use of social media and invest heavily in this area. Though they will seek out experts to develop humanized, cross channel strategies that enable them to engage followers more effectively. By replicating Maersk's approach, they aim to increase their social media presence and engagement levels. Many competitors will prioritize differentiation by emphasizing their unique value propositions. This includes focusing on sustainability initiatives, delivering exceptional customer service, and targeting niche markets such as freight forwarders on LinkedIn. These strategies serve to distinguish their brands in a competitive environment. Also, aggressive customer targeting will become prominent. Competitors are expected to actively pursue Maersk's existing customers by offering tailored discounts, customized solutions, and guarantees, thereby attempting to capture their market share. Furthermore, platform diversification is anticipated as a strategic move. Competitors will leverage underutilized channels like YouTube for organizational branding and employ LinkedIn or B2B relationship building, deliberately avoiding direct competition with Maersk on their more saturated platforms. To sustain its leadership, Maersk must continue to innovate and expand its social media footprint. This includes exploring new platforms like TikTok, utilizing behind-the-scenes content, and hosting live Q&A sessions and webinars to foster engagement and stay ahead of competitors. Alignment between marketing and social media teams is crucial. By integrating strategies around sustainability, Maersk can amplify its messaging and reinforce its brand values cohesively. Enhanced analytics and social listening tools are essential for understanding competitor tactics, monitoring engagement metrics, and measuring the impact of social media activities on key business objectives, such as lead generation and conversion. Resource allocation should also be scaled appropriately. Expanding the team and increasing the budget will help maintain the quality and momentum of Maersk's social media efforts, ensuring sustained successes. Community engagement represents another vital avenue. Encouraging customers and employees to generate content, such as employee spotlights and customer success stories, will strengthen the brand's authenticity and emotional connection with its audience. Finally, Maersk must demonstrate the tangible return on investment from its social media initiatives. By quantifying impacts on the brand and customer loyalty, the company can justify continued investment and foster long-term strategic growth. In summary, Maersk faces a competitive environment where imitation, differentiation, and platform diversification are key responses by rivals. To maintain its market position, Maersk must proactively innovate, strengthen internal alignment, leverage community content, and rigorously measure its social media impact. Through these measures, Maersk can sustain its competitive advantage and continue leading in the industry.
So, to start off, I think we first should analyze the strategies implemented by Wickman as it can provide some insight and relevance to some of the challenges and give insight to what Maersk line can do next and what areas we could focus on. Firstly, I think it's important to highlight that under Wickman's leadership, they achieved a significant social media presence, which, based on the fact that it's a B2B business and it's based on shipping and logistics, it should not be overstated. Because it's not a business that most people are blown away in excitement for. And in specific details, they accrued over 1 million fans on Facebook, 40,000 followers on Twitter, and 22,000 on Instagram. And I think the approach was focused on following an authentic engagement and storytelling rather than pushing specific products. And I think a potential selling point for Maersk is that if they could build upon this strategy from a cost benefit analysis, it would be pretty affordable since it didn't cost much to begin with. And to really understand why this was successful, I think it's important for us to understand certain major themes that he emphasized and some of the key drivers. I think the main thing was that there was a focus on humanizing the brand and being candid with failures. For example, any negative events like the whale strike incident, and highlighting positive effects like employee advocacy and working from an internal standpoint. And I think that's a pretty effective strategy for Maersk overall. So to start off, because it definitely humanized the business from a certain perspective, and more importantly, I think from that standpoint, it is important to emphasize that there were specific platform strategies that Wickman performed. He highlighted specific strengths for each one, for like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and tried to improve upon those strategies specifically. And again, I think the major themes is that he emphasized employee pride, brand perception, and innovation. And it's really sort of these thematic efforts that seems to be successful on their platform. As far as the challenges and the future and what the strategy they should implement, I think Nielsen needs to focus and scale up the same sort of themes. They need to scale up the social media efforts, and in order to really sail the future goals with success, they should focus their increased funding on maybe decreasing print advertising, web advertising, and sponsorship. They should also cover like the real tools for engagement. And I think any success for the future will be really stemming from the authentic storytelling engagement themes that they had played on before. And I think, again, it was that core part of their marketing strategy and success. And if they keep this philosophy at the forefront, and it'll definitely help utilize increasing sales and opportunities and for the platforms. And more specifically, I think there were definitely underutilized platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter that didn't not Twitter, but LinkedIn that weren't as successful as some of the other platforms. I think they can more cost effectively utilize these platforms by contributing more money towards those efforts. But I think it's always still important for the company to keep in mind what is actually working and what is the extent in which their social media efforts can reach. Because again, it's a B2B business, and there's only so far that their efforts can go. And I don't think that they should sacrifice any sort of authentic engagement for anything artificial in order just to increase numbers and at least look like they're performing better on paper. They need to scale up the social media efforts, and in order to really sail the future goals with success, they should focus their increased funding on maybe decreasing print advertising, web advertising, and sponsorship. They should also cover like the real tools for engagement. And I think any success for the future will be really stemming from the authentic storytelling engagement themes that they had played on before. And I think, again, it was that core part of their marketing strategy and success. And if they keep this philosophy at the forefront, and it'll definitely help utilize increasing sales and opportunities and for the platforms. And more specifically, I think there were definitely underutilized platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter that didn't not Twitter, but LinkedIn that weren't as successful as some of the other platforms. I think they can more cost effectively utilize these platforms by contributing more money towards those efforts. But I think it's always still important for the company to keep in mind what is actually working and what is the extent in which their social media efforts can reach. Because again, it's a B2B business, and there's only so far that their efforts can go. And I don't think that they should sacrifice any sort of authentic engagement for anything artificial in order just to increase numbers and at least look like they're performing better on paper. And I think, secondly, Nielsen could optimize, as discussed earlier, more specific platform strategies. They should have clear engagement goals for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and they continue to develop and build upon those communities. And I think the focus should be building upon that employee advocacy story, maybe creating incentive structures within the company to have more of that output. And I think they should have an open analysis, and they should have a clear analysis on what is working and trying to enhance the brand perception in those areas. And that kind of leads to the main, not main, but necessarily encourage an extra strategy for this would be refining the engagement metrics in which they're using to measure how the brand is performing in these different platforms. They want to have a clear idea on what is real and what is authentic, and how it compares to other competitors. And a refined metric for understanding this will allow allow the company to focus on increasing their numbers and trying to create channels for them to have more sales and allowing them to have more real customer performance. I think more these things could be this qualitative metric can be measured by overall engagement, metrics like quarterly updates, and more of an efficient system for holding how these engagements on these platforms are measured. And I also think that they could scale up the proposal as well to integrate different degrees of social media platforms. And yeah, it goes back to measuring engagement and promoting the authentic message. And if they can continue that strategy and have it more focused on that arena, then it would be a successful endeavor. They need to scale